Let's have a quick look at serial attached SCSI drives, also known as SAS. Now, about 10 years ago, they were really popular in data centers. However, today SSDs have sort of taken over, so these have become really cheap. Now, when we compare SAS to SATA, what we'll find is for the same amount of money, you're going to get a lot better performance and a lot better MTBF, but they come at the expense of lower capacity. So for example, this drive here, you could probably pay the same amount and get maybe 450 gigabytes SATA. Anyway, that's just a brief introduction. So what have we got here? This is a Seagate Cheetah 15K. This one spins at 15,000 RPM, 300 gigabytes. This one here, 10,000 RPM, 600 gigabytes. So SAS drives normally come in 73 gigabytes, 146, 300, 600, and 900. Now the 900 variant still costs quite a bit. This one here, I've got a 15,000 RPM one on the way, so it's going to look identical. So 2.5 inch, 600 gigabytes, 15,000 RPM, and I bought that for only 9 quid on eBay. So for £9, I got brand new drive, and that is ridiculously cheap because I remember a couple of years ago I had to upgrade the hard drive on my laptop to 500 gigabytes SATA, and that obviously spun at only 5,400 RPM. That cost almost 100 quid. So you can see how much the cost has fallen. Now with SATA, they, I believe, max out at maybe 250 or 300 megabytes per second. So nowhere near even the slowest SSD on the market. However, do keep in mind this was manufactured back in 2014, so we're talking about different generation here. If you think back, maybe 8 years before that, I suppose, or 5 years before that, if you had a gaming PC, then you would be happy to have a 10,000 RPM SATA drive, and they used to cost a premium. So you can see where I'm coming from. Any hardcore gamer or enthusiast would be happy to have a 15k RPM drive back then. So most consumer motherboards don't support SATA, don't support SAS, as you can imagine. Now there are motherboards with combination SATA, SAS ports on it, but it gets really complicated, so I won't go into that in this video. This card here is made by LSI. LSI, they were very busy with SAS products in the past, and they've gone bust recently, or maybe a couple of years ago. So this card here looks brand new. The reason I got this model is it has both an external SFF8088 as well as an internal SFF8087, I should say, receptacle. So this is an 8-port card because with SAS, each port supports up to 4 drives. They are also backward compatible with SATA, and that's why it needs a PCI Express 8-lane interface. Because this is going to run up to 8 drives potentially in a RAID configuration. So it's got built-in RAID control as well. So that's going to take the load off your motherboard. Now, as I mentioned, you can also hook up 4 SATA drives to this connector. So even if you don't want to use SAS hard drives, then get SATA ones and get one of these cards, and that will help with cable management, because this is what the cables look like. So this 8087N goes in there, and then you get 4 SAS connectors. So you can get SATA versions of this as well, but these are SAS connectors. So as you can see, this bit here goes to the hard drive, and this bit here is where you hook up a standard SATA power connector to supply power to the drives. So the data cable itself looks quite neat and thin. Yeah, and then standard SATA power connector. So just to put things in perspective, this is a standard SATA drive. This is a HGST HE12, so helium-12, 12 terabytes helium-filled drive, 10 platters, so pretty dense. However, this was from 2019, so today you can get 24 terabyte ones. This one is standard SATA. Although it spins only at 7,200 RPM, the transfer rate will beat any SAS drive that you can get. So that kind of also explains why SAS drives have sort of gone obsolete. So this one here has a transfer rate of over 250 megabytes per second, which is blazing fast for a non-SSD drive. The maximum SAS will give you is also around that sort of speed. So that pretty much brings me to the end of my video. I just want to say be careful with cables and connectors, because there are many different SAS connectors, but you can convert between them and they're quite cheap to play around with anyway. LSI, I don't know if I mentioned, they've gone bust a couple of years ago. So the drivers for this card only works up to, or is only compatible officially up to Windows 8.1. However, they should work with modern versions of Windows as well. Now, if you want more drives, get one without an external connector and with 2 internal connectors instead. There are also other manufacturers that make them. If you flip one of these around, and if you can look on the other side of the circuit board, what you'll find is a lot of them have LSI controllers in them, because as I mentioned, LSI was very involved with SAS. Now, just before ending this video, I'll say that once the new drive arrives in the post, I've got one that is identical to this, except it spins at 15,000 RPM, so 600 gigabytes. 15,000 RPM is going to look identical, but I'll just do a quick video of that and append it to the end of this one. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. So here it is, the 15,000 RPM version of the 600 gigabytes HGST SAS hard drive. And I just want to show you one last thing. This is another cable. This one's terminated with SAS, obviously, on this end, and on the host end, this is an SFF8088 connector. So this goes into SFF8088 female ports. Now with this sort of cable, you've got to supply Molex power to power the hard drive. That's it. Thanks for watching.